Alright, so I'm doing a video here on a rincon engine. They also put them in the, see, they did the rincon, the big red, the pioneers. It's the 700cc with the 3-speed Ford transmission torque converter. She quit, she fired up, ran fine, went about 100 feet and started just slipping and had no go. Checked our oil pressure, we had no oil pressure at all. Checked our pump and we had a cracked oil pump housing, number 2 stage. I don't have it pulled out here right now, but I'll put it on later. Anyway, got the old girl tore down, ended up doing a pressure check, putting a different oil pump chain on it, still had nothing. Did have some flow, but not enough to do what we needed to do. So anyway, we fixed it, finally found the problem. All of our pump was good, our O-rings were good, oil passages, torque converter, all that was good, all the bushings were good. And what it is on these Rincons, there's a pickup tube right here and an oil screen in here. I don't think you can see it at all. And there's another oil screen in here. Oil comes from the crankcase, flows down into here. This gets oil pushed into it. There's an oil tank under here. Your screen is right here. The oil goes over, under the screen, up, and gets pulled out. You get a bunch of junk in here, and it will plug both of these screens up. And in fact, this one, I had flushed it out. It came out clean. Everything came out clean. But when I cracked the case to get to these two, the holes were full of clutch material, silicone, dirt, rocks. And it had been trying to pull oil so hard through this screen. It's a stainless steel screen and steel housing, and it concaved the screen to the base of the suction tube. So it just literally collapsed, the whole thing. So anyway, we got our torque taken apart, replaced our second gear clutches, which were bad. I had another drum with a new set of clutches in it, and also the first gear set got 2 drums. This is off the old motor, or that only had like 300 miles on it. Going to swap out my other case. It's got a better bushing in it where the torque converter rides. It's about 5 thousandths smaller, which isn't so wore out, so we're going to use that. Changed out the cam. Piston looks good. From what I understand, this thing did go under the water. It does have a cracked case, which I had to repair with some JB weld, cut it out, and split the case apart again. And the only reason why I can think of that this thing cracked, both the oil pump and the side case, was she was full of water and it froze. Hopefully torque converter's fine. Flush it out with some diesel, run some air through it, try to get all the particulates out of it. And she should work just fine. But once again, Rincon, Pioneer, and Honda Big Red transmission, no go. If your pump is fine, if your oil rings are fine, if you don't have any obvious signs of trauma, broken oil pump, anything like that, 100% guarantee you need to crack the case and clean that screen and this screen. The galleys that are underneath them are completely full of shit and plugged up, and it's not able to suck up the oil. You will hear a very teeny tiny muffled growling from inside the front case. When it fires up, that's the pump cavitating because it can't get any oil. Didn't need to buy any parts. Just a head gasket, all I needed to buy. Some silicone. Silicone goes in between the 2 halves. There's only a particular spot. This cover here has an actual gasket that you need, so it'll clear the starter gears in there. Other than that, everything else is siliconed on, and Yeah, so if you got a transmission and a rincon that's slipping, giving you problems, you got a pump that's good, she's got some miles on it, then that's 99.9%. That's what you're going to be, is those two filters down there. Um, one thing I'm looking at doing is if you turn this engine over, there's a flat spot under there. Right there. Right there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's directly under the oil filter. So I'm going to fucking TIG weld a nut on there and put me in a drain plug on both of them, both galleys. So both galleys will have a drain plug and a cleaning hole. So that'll never have to happen and come apart again. You can just simply pull the plug, blow it out, clean the screen, slap it back together, and fill it up with oil and go. Anyway, once again, it's just something I picked up. It's a basket case. We're up here in Alaska. There's my other basket case I picked up in 2010 Honda Big Red out there sitting underneath the tarp. Had very few miles on it. That one I picked up had a 700 twin cylinder conversion in it, and they could never get it to run. It ended up being the rev limiter was hooked up and the CDI box is bad. So it kept the rev limiter on. Wouldn't pick up RPM or go anywhere. So now she runs like a champ. Just disconnected the black wire on the CDI box and got rid of the rev limiter, and away she went. But anyway, yeah, this is inside of my cabin. We just got her done. First thing we're doing, rebuilding engines. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and stay tuned for more work on these small engines.